So I want to say this because, and I have to do this through a different application on my phone because it seems as though, hey, so in a little while I'll be going because it's just necessary for me to just provide you this last little bit of information before you no longer see me again. So, and that's not to say something like dire is happening to me or anything like that. Remove all that criticism or skepticism. That's not what this is about. Basically, what I want to tell you is this: the system operates on trust. Okay? Their system, meaning that of European immigrants, is based on European feudalism. Okay? So, trust and estates are all part of that feudal system of property possession, aka Lord of the land. Okay? Now, this mostly applies to those who are indigenous to the landmass that we call North America. Okay? And its adjoining islands, as well as that of Central America and of South America. Okay? We're talking about all of the Americas as a whole. Alright? Because it's time to start collectively coming back together and identifying within a national perspective so that way we can move forward with a corporate agenda. Alright? Now, why would I suggest a corporate agenda? Is because trust in the states are for business purposes. They're for commercial purposes. Why else would someone seek to claim ownership or title over something had there not been a value to what that substance was? Okay, so in order to, that's just a quick synopsis of just what it means to be a lord over the land. Alright, now the lord over the land is usually considered to be pure in their status, okay? Meaning they claim a white status, a status of white, because they are clean in the eyes of their creator, okay? They have a trust, a spiritual trust as it were, and that's quite easily the simplest fashion of creating spiritual or defining spiritual relationships between the creator and the created, okay, or the property that is on loan, okay? So when you look at certain documents or agreements, contracts pertaining to the establishments of trust, understand that number one, a trust is being created between two knowing consensual parties, okay? There are no third parties allowed. If they're not if they're not a part of party A or party B, they have no title or interest in the agreement whatsoever, okay? So now that you understand parties and interest, those parties only can state what the terms of the contract are and how manners and methods of payment may be produced and received, okay? So most times when in the modern day system, here we are in this landmass of North America within the contemporary sense of what it means to be here. So when we're dealing with the United States of America as a corporation founded or established in the year of 1871 with its second constitution, we also need to understand that the laws that affect business changed in that year. Okay, now it also still held within that document that all laws or agreements or treaties would be held as valid in this new era of administration. Okay, so if you're not familiar with how to get back to your original status of being adjoined or being attached to this landmass by spiritual or through genetic relation, then, and I mean real genetic, not based on some like, and I mean lineage, meaning like you have the trees that show that like your ancestors are from this landmass, okay, or aboriginal and indigenous to this landmass, okay? Now, when you do that, you're also essentially allotted certain tax benefits, okay? Because most individuals who study certain sciences fail to realize that there are benefits to the filings of taxes when you're doing business with this second party, okay, with this administrative regime that many people would call the corporation, or that they presume to be an actual nation that is actually on loan, and it has been entrusted to them by, through the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. But that's a whole other conversation. But I will entertain the fact that Morocco, having the oldest treaty with America, does have some of the highest tax relief benefits available. Okay, now you would need to be a citizen of Morocco in order to attach yourself to those things, meaning you need to be a national recognized with certain documentation, certificates of birth, things of that nature. All right, in which, before you even apply for citizenship to that nation, you must have all of your affairs handled here within the corporation's structure. Do you understand? So, just a little bit of information for you to consider. And when you're doing business in that fashion, and you're doing business essentially in your name, okay, or in the name that appears to be yours, because your actual name comes in the form of last name, first name, so on and so forth, middle names, or initials. You're also stating that there's a difference between a name that is spelled in all capital letters with the first name first and the last name last. You also understand that that is a fictitious entity, okay? A fictitious entity that you've trusted the public to do with what it will. And so the public does. But if you're no longer content with what it is that the public is doing, consider some other options. Prince L, get at me. How to deal with trust, estates, nationality, and transfer of property. Peace and love.